Good morning. It is early and I'm on my way to a radio station. I was contacted by a reporter last night and they're like, can you come in tomorrow and talk about entrepreneurship and be interviewed? And I said, sure. And that's how things get done sometimes. You just gotta go for it. So let's go check this out, huh? Here we are.
Hello, Throwboy world.
So what are we gonna be doing today?
So you're jumping into Nothing Impossible. There's Michael Calhoun.
Hey Michael, nice to meet you.
What's going on? We're going to jump on the radio, chat for the radio show Nothing Impossible on KMOX. Talk about all the awesome innovators in St. Louis.
Joining us in studio for this first segment is Roberto Hoyos, who's the founder and CEO, Chief Pillow Officer, is that what you called him, Travis? Of Throwboy Pillows. Welcome into KMOX.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me.
And I think Throwboy's a perfect story to talk about during Christmas because, as the Christmas Carol knows, he knows when you are sleeping, he knows when you are awake. And if you're sleeping, you better be sleeping on a Throwboy.
Yeah, exactly. If you're sleeping, call us, right? That went really well. Radio is always so fast. Like, I feel like I just got in there, blabbered out a whole bunch of stuff, and then they're like, okay, we're done. Now I'm off to another meeting. No, it's fine. Hello! Now we are at the part of the video that's all about giveaways. Last week I asked the question, if you won $1 million in the lottery, what would you do with it? And now we'll let the computer read who I chose.
If I won $1 million, I would for sure pay off all my debts, including my house, to get an RV and travel the country, travel in other countries for show love and support to family and friends.
Congratulations, Hetty1313. You won yourself a Throwboy Subscribe Mini, my friend. Great answers. I love that. Traveling, paying off debt, friends and family, that's totally like in my realm of what I would do with mine. I'd probably also buy a property and have it on Airbnb or like have it for rent, just to have something going that's constantly making some money. You know, like my snowman, I went to a restaurant and they had this and I complimented them and then they said you can have it. So of course, now it's like my tree. It's huge though, look. Well, now on to this week's giveaway. It's almost New Year's, so what are your goals for the year 2016? Leave your very best goals down in the comments below, and I will choose one winner next week, and they will, of course, win a Throwboy Subscribe Mini. I hope you had an awesome Christmas, an awesome holiday, and thank you so much for watching my videos during December and during this whole year. One more week of 2015, and then we're on to 2016. I think it's going to be a great year. I'm very much looking forward to it. I hope you are too. And make it a great year, because that makes all the difference when you put your mind to your goals. Forge ahead, make it good. Only you can make it good. I'm working on a new fun project. So the Pillow Fighters, we're working on the plush toy versions of them. Some of you guys have seen the Pillow Fighters. I used to make them. They actually started as plush toys. I started working on them as a comic, and so now we're doing the comic, and now we're going back to doing toys again. It's like back to our roots, right? So I can't wait to show you what they're really gonna look like. I'm designing the plush toys right now. Here's the little turnaround to kind of show how it's gonna look, what it's gonna look on the side, what it's gonna look on the back, and then what the face features are gonna be. This is Bimmy, this is the main character. His body style will be used for lots of different Pillow Fighters in the future. There's Jimothy's features. He's gonna have a little floppy ear, but otherwise basically the same except face. There is QWERTY, who's gonna have glasses and pretty much the same. So they're all using the same template. That's kind of what the whole Pillow Fighter thing is, that they all have the same body type and hands. And for the most part, they all have the same eye type, like you can see here. But I'm also working on this brand new thing. I've never done this before. We're working on a vinyl toy. So I've always wanted to do this. I thought Pillow Fighters would be so cool as a vinyl toy, that standard pillow shape. I got a whole bunch of examples. I got vinyl toys right here. I just love these. I think they're so cool. They're like a piece of art that kind of just sits on your desk or what have you on your shelf. Obviously the most popular ones right now are the Pop Funko vinyls because they have all the licenses and everything. And I really want to do that, and I want to get into this scene and this culture. So we're working on our own. This is the digital sample right now of the Pillow Fighter vinyl. As you can see, it's based on the Bimmy character, but we're also going to create a DIY blank one, so there will be no face and you can paint it in any way you want. You can even take off the arms, so you can, replace it with different arms or do whatever you want. The bottom will be flat, and so we're working on this now. We're in the early stages of it, but it's going to be out in 2016. Just to get an idea of how big he'll be, this one is actually a little too small. He's going to be about maybe a half an inch taller. But the design is basically going to be where it is flat on the bottom, but it's sort of an illusion because it has these little points that stick out, or go up, I should say. So he still has that pillow shape. This is kind of the whole plan, and then he obviously is going to have arms. So this is a very crude mock-up. I like to do this just to get a sense of how big and the scale of it. Whenever I do anything, I usually try to build it myself to see just, how big it's going to be. Does it look right? Does it look right on a shelf and kind of back away? Like, I try to see it in the real world as much as possible. I'm working with a sculptor right now, which is what you do when you make a vinyl toy. You have someone take your idea and then actually digitally or physically sculpt it, how to make it look like the right amount of girth without it being, too flat, and all these kind of just different things. So it's really fun. It's a very interesting little puzzle. Gets the wheels turning back to what I used to do when I used to make everything myself. This is what he used to look like. So that is actually the real template, the scanned template that I used on all of the pillow fighters that I ever made. All of these guys, all those guys in the window there, they're all based off of this, which I basically kind of flippantly did, but I don't know why I didn't just fold the paper in half and make it identical on both sides. But I don't know, it looked good. I still like it, and I still think it's cool. When I actually had to redesign him, I really struggled. I was like, should I just leave it exactly the same? But I struck a good balance, I think, and I made it cleaner, yet still using some of the main elements of the original. So there are his eyes. You can see that I made his eyes just a teeny bit bigger, very subtly, just they're not lined up. And then I made his hands go out a little bit more, which I'm not totally certain if I'm going to do or not, because I have to see it on the real thing. And there you can see the full body. Basically the same thing, just a little bit cleaned up, and then he will have a red stroke around the edge. Oh, and then he has a tongue now, and he didn't have a tongue back then. So just little improvements. Always room for improvement, as my grandma always tells me. Improving on things is a very interesting balancing act, I think, because on the one hand, let's say you make something and people really like it, or it works really well or something like that, but then you want to make it better, or you want to make it look better, something where you want to alter it. It's one of those things where if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't really subscribe to that. I don't think that's a good way of thinking, but I do think that you can mess up if you don't really know or understand what the core of the thing that you made that makes people like it or makes it good. I'll tell you a story. That happened to me when I was very little, when I was 8 years old. So when I was around that age, I had handmade a go-kart by myself from scraps around the yard and wood scraps that my dad had and spare wagon wheels and things like that. I made it all myself. I think my dad helped me on a tiny bit of it. It inspired us to tell the neighborhood kids everyone should make their own go-kart, and we should have this big go-kart race in our neighborhood. And so we did that. Everybody made a go-kart, and it was very obvious that everybody else had their parents make it with them or make it for them. And my go-kart was very primitive. It didn't even have a steering wheel. You steered with your legs because it was basically wheel here, and in the front, and you just pivoted it with your legs to turn it. And I think it had ropes to be able to turn it. But it was awesome, and it won the race. I won the race against all these older kids, and I made that myself, and that was the thing that amounted to all that work. Later on, I'm like, you know what would be cool? If I made this go-kart look cooler, I should put fins on it, and I should paint it. And so I started to do all that stuff and put fins on it to make it look sleek, or what I thought looked sleek when I was a kid. And I painted it and did all this stuff. And then when it came down to it, it worked worse. I think I probably just left it in the yard to rot because it just stopped working well. The main thing about that was that it was fast and that it was solid and it was good, and I didn't understand that back then. Those were the things that I had to make and enhance probably, but I just looked at it and I was like, this thing's ugly. I should just put fins on it and paint it. Long story short, don't put fins on a go-kart. It's not just the out-facing way that it looks, it's really what makes it what it is. And sometimes that's difficult to find. But I think that I found it with the Pillow Fighter design. I hope that you guys like it. But that's my story. If you have a similar story, let me know in the comments below. Have you ever taken something that you made and then maybe screwed it up because you tried to make it better? And what happened? What was the reason why it went wrong? But I'm gonna get back to work, so I will see y'all in the next vlog. It's been a really great year for Throwboy. Thank you for watching these. What is that? I think that's an Amber Alert.
Flash flood warning this area till 10:30 p.m. CST. Avoid flood areas. Check local media. NWS.